Welcome to Across the PondCast. I'm Flinter.
And I am Zaggi.
Today we are going to talk about the kind of behind the scenes of content creation and kind of content creation in general. And quickly before we get into that, I do want to say if you're watching on YouTube, you can watch these live on Twitch well before they're released here on YouTube, mainly just so we can have like a consistent upload schedule. But if you want to see them live and basically before they're released, you can check out twitch.tv/acrossthepondcast. And was there anything else we needed to talk about?
I don't think so. We have now also started a Discord server, so if you have any kind of feedback and such you want to leave, there is a Discord server for that. You can find that both in links in the description of the YouTube and here on Twitch. But let's get into content creation. What does it mean to be a content creator? That is a quite simple question. Basically, you just have to create something that is content. And Flinter have been doing that for about 4 years now, I think.
It'll be 4 years in almost a month today.
Yeah, and I've been doing it for close to 2.5, and we think we have a pretty good understanding of what it is all about by now. And we kind of want to take you guys behind the scenes to let you have an idea of how much time actually goes into other than just posting a video. For Flinter's, he's doing it once every single day. I've been trying to do it a little more frequently. I have not been able to succeed very much with that lately, but it takes a lot of time. It is not as easy as people think it will. So how much time do you think you spend on being a content creator?
So I would say every week, all things considered, maybe 70 hours a week. It probably depends week to week, depending on the videos I'm doing, but in that area, I would say easily.
Yeah, that doesn't even surprise me. 10 hours a day, and I think you have like one or two scheduled, or no, well, one scheduled stream, and then you have another one you try to get out on Saturdays?
Yeah, it's supposed to be scheduled, but it doesn't always happen, unfortunately.
Nah, and I don't think that I'm quite up there. I do stream a lot more than Flinter does. So I will say that I probably put in about 40 hours on a weekly basis, I would say, as it is of right now. So that is a lot of time. And if you look at the length of Flinter's videos, they're not 70 hours long. How long do you spend on recording?
I would say the average just pure recording session is right about 2 hours because I'll have some that go 2, 3, 4 hours, and sometimes I get really lucky and can have a video done in, 30 minutes, but probably on average, 2 hours.
And that's just the recording. Then we have a thing called editing as well. We know something, but keep this in mind, guys. If you're just starting out as a content creator, it is not gonna be as fast to get a decent result as it is for us, because we've been doing it. I have more than 500 pieces of content on my YouTube channel by now, and I think you must be close to 900.
Probably 895, almost 900. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we've been trying, and we are trying to make everything faster every time we try to do it again, just simply because time is valuable for us. But if you're getting into it, editing is probably going to be the thing that is going to take the longest time for you. How long time would you imagine that you actually spend on editing? Let's just say tonight's video.
Well, I just edited it not long ago. It was probably about 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes counting the render.
Yeah.
Right about that area. And I can say quickly from experience way back, I had several videos that took me over 2 hours, and it wasn't difficult editing. It was just not knowing at all what I was doing.
As soon as you start to learn the softwares you're using, you to learn the programs, all the shortcuts and such, it gets tons easier. And also one of the things that actually takes a long time to learn is the way of kind of seeing where you need to go whenever you're editing, because I know I have a way I can pretty much see on the way that I'm speaking if I am anywhere near something that I need in the video. But that's like techniques that you have to learn yourself just to get faster. I think the Jacksepticeye once showed that when he was doing clips, he actually clapped by the end of the clip to make sure that everyone could see, of his editors, that they could see this was actually going to be used in the video itself. And that is a really, really brilliant way of doing it, because the sound wave file is just going to be so much easier to spot than sit and look through, as in Flinter's case, 2 hours of recording.
Yeah, I've used that method. I don't remember exactly what I was doing. I think I was probably recording maybe for a video where I intended on mainly just sitting down and talking, and then just recording Call of the Wild in the background. And that's what I would do. I would clap when I shot an animal, so I could just record the entire thing. So if I needed more footage of the walking around to fill in as I talked, that could be there. But I knew what to edit roughly around. It is a really, really good tip for recording the entire thing, where most of it, of course, is not going to be actually in the video.
Yeah, and I think a thing people probably don't know, if you are just finding our podcast here, we play a game called The Hunter Call of the Wild, and we have... the thing is, you want to find as big animal as possible and make it as interesting as possible. And when you set out to do recording in a game that is heavily based on luck, it's not always... it doesn't always go according to plan. So you can run around for several hours and not ever find anything. And then you can have other days where you just get like 3 animals that needs to be in a video in 5 minutes. So it's very, very luck based. I tend to do little more tutorials and guide videos for my channel, so I know what I need to do, but that requires a lot of research before even starting the video. So it takes a long time as well. We're going to get into the streaming part a little later as well, because that is also content creation, but that is a different style of content creation. We both started out doing YouTube videos, and I still really, really enjoy it. It's fun, and one of the things that is really fun is that you can just transform it so much, from having that base gameplay to adding effects, adding transitions, adding music and all. There goes so much thought into it as well, and until you find your style, you're going to be spending a long time of actually doing that. I still remember just looking back at my old videos, holy smokes.
Yeah, big cringe.
Yeah, hopefully it all improves as long as we just keep doing it. So it should be all good. But if you were to give out a power tip or two when it comes to recording and editing, what would be? Let's see if we can make a top 3.
Top 3, just between the two of us.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. For strictly recording, I think actually having a plan is incredibly important, and it might not seem so, especially in Call of the Wild as the game we're playing, where it is so random, but this is something that a lot of people won't know as well. I easily throw out 6 hours of recording every week that I'm just like, nope, this is not going to work. I don't have it in me, like in my voice. I'm not, in the right mental state yet, or I don't have a plan. I'm just running around. What am I doing? So put forth an idea of what you want to do. You don't have to stick to that script or that plan, but knowing what you want to do is actually incredibly important, I feel.
Yeah, and I know we actually do record on 2 different ways, because I basically only record whenever I have something that I know is probably going to be video worthy, where you pretty much record everything you do.
Yeah, I record literally from start to finish the entire hunt.
Yeah, and that requires a bit of hard drive space as well.
But, a little bit.
Yeah, I found my way to work better with me. I use Shadowplay to record, and I think you use OBS.
Yeah, I'm using OBS now.
Yeah, where I have a single click on a button and it will start the recording software, and I don't have to worry about anything other than editing it at some point. And Flinter has to look through everything he has made, but that also means that he has that trick with actually doing a loud sound or something by the end of every thing that might be video worthy.
Yeah, I know where all the useful footage is at.
Yeah, but in terms of recording tips, having a plan is really, really important, and knowing that you want to put this out to a lot of people. So please show enthusiasm about the game. Please show that you're interested about the game and that you're actually enjoying it, because also it's going to be really, really hard for people to get engulfed into the video you want to try to make. It is very hard for someone to get engaged if you're just going to be sitting and you're not really showing anything. You'd rather be somewhere else and being very monotone in your voice. Your most powerful asset being a content creator on video, if you don't want to use a face cam, is your voice. Use it.
Go watch any of Flinter's videos pre 2017 anyway. Hey guys, it's me, Flinter. Don't do that.
Nah. We have spent the last 2, 3, 4 years on trying to make all the mistakes so you don't have to do them by watching this podcast. I don't know if there was any like number 3 thing. Don't be I would say don't be ashamed to show bloopers and such. If things doesn't go to plan, those videos tend to do really, really well. As well. So if you are recording everything, don't be afraid to put in the stuff where, this didn't go quite as you expected it to be. Everything doesn't need to be 100% polished and you never make any mistakes. I mean, we've all done some stupid stuff in the games we play. Don't be afraid to show it. It's only fun, and it helps build character. It helps build your personality as an online creator as well. I think that is a important thing as well, actually.
I think you mentioned not having a face cam. There's actually a very important part of that as well, especially if you don't have a face cam, so you don't see any kind of like silly facial expressions or whatever you might do. Having the bloopers there, I really feel that helps the audience, or it helps convey to the audience that you're not just full of yourself, that you're the best at this game and all this stuff, that you're just there having fun when there's just silly mistakes that happen. It doesn't have to be every video, but when they see that, they're going to appreciate it.
Yeah, and especially if you do run a face cam, please be aware of you're actually on camera. Start loving the face cam. Start actually paying attention to the camera, because if you're just going to be sitting and looking in your screen or looking in a different direction, there is actually no need for you to have it. You need to be able to interact with it, and I don't think you guys can see it on YouTube, but here on Twitch, I actually do run with a face cam, because I feel like the culture on Twitch is way better suited for a face cam than it is on YouTube. So if you do start streaming with face cams and such, learn to appreciate having it, learn to actually address people, because if you go and look towards the face cam, you're looking people in the eyes. It sounds very, very strange for you as a streamer to be sitting and looking at your face cam most of the time, but it does help to connect with the viewers. So if you're running a face cam, use it. Else just don't even bother. Just don't even have it on the screen.
Do we only have 2 then for the top 3 things?
I think that was actually 3.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't count.
We don't do math. We don't do math at all. We just
it's not
pretend.
A good idea.
But that was the recording part. Then to the editing part of what goes into that, which usually is the most time-consuming one if you're creating videos like I am, because you need to have a very clear strategy of how you want to have your videos laid out. And I think you have like a base how long you want your videos normally to be.
Yeah, I shoot for like 12 to 16 minutes, because anything over that and it's starting to look too long, there's going to be, I feel, a lot of people that are like, I don't have that much time to watch that. And I like there to be, I know a lot of people enjoy the longer form content. I want to try to appeal to that, I guess, chunk of the audience as well. But I really feel like that is kind of the sweet spot for me, because that's how long I feel like I can do what I want to do, keep it short and sweet, but also have like a full hunt encapsulated in those 12 to 16 minutes.
Yeah, I'm very much different when it comes to that. I know if you are on YouTube and you're monetized, you want to be striving for 10 minutes, because then you can put mid-roll ads into your content, which is going to generate you more money. Neither me or Flinter actually uses mid-rolls, because there is nothing worse than sitting there and being engaged in a good video and all of a sudden you get a commercial in your face. No one really likes that. So we don't want to put that in ours, but my go-to when I want to do videos for the length of them is very, very simple. It's as long as it needs to be, but as short as possible. I don't care if it's a 2-minute video, I don't care if it's a 30-minute video. If I feel the content requires a 30-minute video, I'm going to sit through it and make a 30-minute video. But most of the time, I really, really appreciate every single one of you guys that are viewing this stuff and listening to this podcast as well, is being there and you actually feel like you're getting value for your time. There's nothing worse than feeling you've basically wasted 5 minutes of your time, because then we're not going to get a second chance. I want to get to the point as fast as possible, and then I want to kind of just deliver, and then whenever there's no more I need to talk about, then I'd rather end it rather than try to keep it on. But that is also because I stream so much more. I don't need to have that extra few minutes in there. If you don't have enough stuff to actually make an interesting video, then just make it as short as it needs to be, so you can actually get something out there, and you're not wasting time. And that also means that you want to cut out as many as the and all that kind of stuff where there's basically just dead air. So often you will have to treat your sound and your sound recording and your video recording differently as well, because the sound, you can just cut it up and no one will ever know unless you end in the middle of a word, and then you can move it around so it fits the video, or you can re-record, or actually you can even narrate over your stuff after you've recorded the video if you need to do that too. So there's tons of things you need to be aware of, how you do it, and it's all down to personal preferences, and you're going to have to find what works best for you. But it is needed if you want to be a content creator these days, I would say.
I do want to actually, if we didn't have three, because I did see someone in chat said best two thing top three ever, record your game audio and your mic audio differently. I know you don't do that, but yeah. I do 2 separate tracks for game audio and mic audio, and that allows me to do exactly what you just said. Splice up my audio as it needs to be, sometimes remove things that don't need to be there, like the dead air, and it doesn't impact the game audio at all. There's no, unless it's very clear that I was like in the middle of a sentence where I've cut my vocals, it's completely, basically seamless.
Yeah, and I've just come up with a way where it works for me, because if I then need to re-record something, I'll just take a bit of the space of the video where I'm not talking. So I'll just have the background noise and then I'll narrate over it, so you won't be able to tell the difference anyway. But it is just an extra step for me. So yeah, it's down to what works for you. That is the most important. Want to get into a bit about streaming versus videos. What is best? Yeah. It's up to you. Yeah. It comes down to you as a person, pretty much. On the spot, if you are making a live stream, be it, we're talking YouTube very specifically right now, your live stream is probably going to get promoted harder by YouTube as long as you're live. But as soon as you're not live anymore, 99 out of 100 times, it will pretty much just die off and not really perform anything ever again. We see that so often. We get to a certain point, and as soon as that is pretty much over, unless something extremely crazy happened or something has made it come up again, then streams has a tendency to just pretty much die out as soon as they're done. Whereas a video, your best video has how many views?
It's nearly 450,000.
That's a lot of people, and that one just keeps performing.
Yeah, and that was from early September, probably.
Yeah, so it's been out for 7-8 months now.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, and 450,000 people has clicked on it. That's a lot.
That's going to do better than any live stream that I'll ever do, ever. Pretty much guaranteed.
Yes. Unless you find Mr. Beast, then yeah, I think you're very right.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it also really comes down to what you want to do. I believe if you only want to be one or the other when it comes to content creation, if you want to really have a chance to make it, it's easier to make it as only doing videos than it is doing streams. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I know for me, I just think like you can because you can deliver that message, and as you say, sometimes like 2-3 minute videos, you're gonna have a lot more people that have actually seen the entire thing and be like, okay, I like this. Whereas a stream, let's say someone tunes in, and we'll just take Call of the Wild as an example, and they tune in a spot where you haven't done anything for 10 minutes and you're just running around, they're just gonna leave and probably never come back. Videos just allow you to quickly get your message across, and for tutorials especially, help people that are going to be like, all right, I'm coming back to this guy. This guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and I really do agree. But I also think the most fun thing to do is streaming.
Oh, for sure. I agree with that 100%. That instantaneous interaction.
Yeah, just having you guys in the chat that we can actually speak to and get immediate reactions pretty much is so much more fun than just getting around to read all your comments and such. We love your comments as well, don't get us wrong, but the immediate interaction where we actually just get to speak on top of our head pretty much every time when you leave something in the chat, that beats any kind of content or interaction in the chats on the videos. But in terms of growing, if you are looking to just grow as a content creator, I would advise you to do both, because that is going to keep things fresh as long as possible. If we didn't have the streams, we might end up getting really burned out on editing or something like that. I know you have been working on a massive project for your channel for a long time, where you actually freed up a lot of hours in the day to work extra on that.
By streaming.
By streaming.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the back end of making videos where it's 2 hours of recording, a half hour editing, and a lot of other minor stuff that goes into every video for me. Usually I do a 2 hour stream, sometimes longer, but it's just guaranteed the stream isn't going to take me as long if I intend to end at the 2 hour mark, or if I intend to end anywhere before probably 3 hours. I'm going to just have some free time that I wouldn't otherwise have if I did a video that day.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy knowing that you can just sit yourself down for 2 hours and know you will have a great piece of content out because you have an amazing community, and just be like, yeah, I can work on other projects for the next 10-15 hours.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's like a lifesaver. Whenever stuff is really going wrong, you just know you can just fire up a stream, and then hopefully people will come around to watch it.
Indeed.
And
there's been many of those.
Yeah, you're just on the mercy of the game at most of the time there. Because you can have streams where basically nothing ever happens in your game, and you can have streams where everything just falls into place and everything is just amazing. And the streams where the content or this game doesn't deliver, you really need to learn to appreciate the people you have in your chat. And that doesn't matter if you have one person in the chat, or if you have, like I've seen Flinter have more than once 500 people in the chat. It is, everyone is taking time out of their busy day to come and watch you. Please pay attention to that. Please make sure that you appreciate everyone being there, because you're never entitled to anyone come around to view your stuff.
No, I don't think anyone in this entire community really is I don't know, shall I say arrogant enough to believe that when we just go live, there's going to be everybody showing up and they're just going to be there and watch us be goofballs on stream. I mean, I try my absolute hardest not to take any of that for granted, because it is so amazing that people do actually show up for them, and it just blows my mind sometimes. I'll be sitting there doing a stream where I'm not doing nothing. I'm like, why is there 500 people here right now? 500 people watch me download the the Lion Trailblazer beta. I'm like, oh god. I messed up.
That was actually really good though. That was some crazy streams. But it's always, whenever there's new content coming out to your game, if you are a gamer, make sure you are around to be one of the first ones to stream it. If you can be that, you're guaranteed a lot of views, because there's going to be a lot of people looking for it, and then it's your job to be trying to persuade them into actually subscribing to you or following you on Twitch, so they will come back and will slowly just enter your community and such. So it is knowing the tentpole events of your game, or if you're doing any kind of other streaming, knowing tentpole events is really, really powerful, because if you are into Christmas and all that stuff, Christmas comes every December. So if you are making something that usually peaks around the holidays and such. Make sure you are there for the holidays to do the streams, to do the videos, and plan your content ahead. Is there any reason we're aiming for a 2 hour on YouTube for our live streams? I don't think so. It just seems to be the sweet spot. In the beginning, I was pretty much the only one of us to stream in the beginning, because you had Flinternet and did not work for streaming. And I stream Sunday night 9 p.m. You stream Central European time, and you stream Monday night 9 p.m. Central European time, and that just seems to be fitting, because then it's not too long. If anyone ever wants to watch the rebroadcast of the stream, 2 hours is, it's a long time, but you can just take half an hour a few times a week and actually make that a thing. So for any kind of content that you're saving on the platform, I wouldn't recommend you going too long. On Twitch, it's actually a little different, because you're gonna have clips of the podcast, or not the podcast, of the stream, which you can then refer to. But on YouTube, sitting down and streaming for 7 hours, no one will watch that. On the replay.
Yeah, it's just not gonna happen.
And at 2 hours in the beginning, before we learned how to stream, because streaming in the beginning, I have learned extremely much about streaming over the last 2 years of me doing it. It is exhausting. It is so mentally draining, and you're just sitting, and you're gonna have to pay attention. I don't know how you have 2 or 3 screens as well, yeah?
Yeah, 3.
And there's just stuff going on all of the screens.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be aware, because you are the one in charge of making people have fun and make sure they don't waste their time. And
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say that I think that's something that a lot of people probably don't realize about content creation, and especially with the streaming side of things. It's not as simple as just playing the game and talking to people in chat. For one thing, for me, it wears my voice out a lot. But I don't think there's a certain subset of people, I think, that can actually sit there and be the most chipper, entertaining side of themselves for hours on end and entertain people. Like, not everyone can do that, but that's important, and I don't think people realize that it is mentally taxing to do that for hours on end with no break, essentially.
What if you remember your first streams? What is the biggest things that you noticed by yourself that has actually changed with the way you stream? If we take your first streams and then how you stream now?
My first streams when I had my own internet?
Or the ones you did with me. Probably the ones you did solo, yeah.
I think one of the things that I stopped doing was trying to address everyone in the chat as they rolled in, but that was kind of a byproduct of the size of the channel getting to the point where I couldn't even do that. The chat just explodes when we start a stream, and it's just unreal. I think I've definitely gotten more relaxed. I'm way more myself now than I used to be. I was a lot at the beginning trying to, I don't want to say put on a show, but almost trying to put on a show. I was trying to just, like, the way I would thank people for subscribing and stuff was different than the rest of my voice, you know? And now I don't do that. I'm just chatting. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, it's different as well, because I treat Twitch. I stream on 2 platforms. I stream on Twitch and I stream on YouTube, and I treat them very, very different. On YouTube, I know there's gonna have to be replay value, so I actually need to put on the same amount of energy in the stream that I do for the videos, where I need to be engaging, I need to be interactive, I need to try to make things work. Whereas if you ever catch a stream of mine on Twitch, you're basically gonna get me. I don't need to worry too much about the replay value. I don't really need to worry too much about it. I have a feeling on Twitch people are way more there for the streamer than they are on YouTube, where most of people gets attracted to the game first of all, and then might start liking the streamer or just come back for the gameplay. But it's very different environments, and you have to treat the 2 platforms differently, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I agree with that. Twitch is just like it's a different animal, really.
Yeah, it's hanging out with your friends more than YouTube, at least.
I think so.
And it's Very, very powerful platforms, both of them. One is way easier to grow on than the other if you're just starting out. So if you're listening to this and just being like, I want to do content creation, figure out what you want to do and then figure out how to do the other one as well. Because if you're going to be a Twitch streamy boy by now, and you do not have a massive community where you can come around and spread your streams and spread your videos and such, you're really in for a hard time. I have seen so many people sitting and streaming for 1 to 2 people, if even any people, in the game we play, and they're not part of our community. We have combined 10,000 people in the Discords, and we have some big channels. We have some medium channels that are streaming once a week as well, and there's just always streams going on. But what we see is that it's so powerful to be a part of the community, so find a community to be a part of. But another way as well is to make sure you learn as a streamer how to make videos. And if you have the internet, as a video creator, try to learn how to do streams, because streams is a way to interact with the audience, and they are very, very powerful for that.
They're very powerful. I mean, that's what I've taken to mainly with. I've had a few people notice it. Not a lot, actually. I guess probably the biggest reason is most of them have come around since this has started. But ever since I started live streaming, I don't take as much time to try to reply to every single comment. I still try to get at any questions, anything that's super relevant. But I treat especially my YouTube streams, as very much a time to just interact with the community.
Yeah, and that's the thing, especially on YouTube, because a lot of people are going to be finding your stuff somewhat by accident, because it's just going to be in the recommended sidebar, and then you'll notice this as you grow as a streamer. At least when you are streaming on YouTube, you're going to get the same questions over and over and over again. Whenever there's a new release, one of the questions we get the most is what?
Well, it's either when is it released, or depending on the piece of content, when is it released on console?
Yes. And everything we need to keep in mind is that every one of those guys coming in and asking that question, we just have to assume they weren't there 2 minutes ago when we answered it the last time. So we actually nearly feel obligated that we need to address it once again, just to value or to put that viewer in a good place as well, because we want to get out to as many people as possible. And if someone has a bad experience with us, they're just not going to come back. So treat every single one of your viewers with respect and try to really help everyone in the streams, because the streams is not for you. Don't treat them as a way for you to really create content as much as a way for you to build community, because that is basically what it's about. It's for your community to be able to connect with you. Which is also a thing you can do on the Discords, but it's so much more head on when you have to do it on a live stream, I would say, at least.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And streaming is, if you're afraid, that's actually something we should touch on, because a lot of people are afraid to stream. Do you remember how you felt when you were asked out on the first stream we did?
I was nervous. I still get nervous. I'm a social anxiety boy, but I look forward to it. I'm super excited to do it, but I still get nervous. I don't know why that is. I guess that's a part of me.
Do you have any tips for like dealing with that kind of stuff? Because I'm very much the opposite. I bathe in attention. I love that. That is basically I just thrive when I know there's eyes on me. But I know a lot of people, especially in the online community, where it is you're just sitting at home in your own little room most of the time with no one around you. It's a scary feeling to think about that there's going to be other human beings actually watching you or your gameplay. So do you have any good tips how to deal with that?
I think I'm going to have two different sides of this. I'm going to go on the side of it that maybe is what affects me more. I don't know this for sure because it is subconscious, I think. But the one side of it is like the fear of messing up in front of a live audience. Can't edit that out. It happened. Now what do you do? And an easy way to just like be silly, Yeah. If you got nothing else, just make fun of yourself and it's going to be fine. Everyone's going to laugh along with you. You're not going to get the same type of, I would say, negative response, but I don't. I think you were about to say something there, actually.
Yeah, don't ever take yourself too serious.
Yes.
You put yourself out there. Don't be that guy that is gonna take the criticism way too serious. Constructive criticism, embrace it, but any kind of other stuff like that, just be able to laugh it off and embrace the fails, because they're gonna happen. You're probably gonna have times where you do something that really just shouldn't have been on a stream, and you're just gonna be like, oh, we're gonna have to go with it because there is no editing this out.
I mean, such as having to download the the thing I was trying to stream while live. I mean, I could have ended the stream, but I just kept making fun of myself. I have, this is going to be awkward, but I'm going to go ahead and say it because it was a good, entertaining part. One of our mutual friends, Cellshot, as a sort of just messing with me thing for a Black Friday sale, gifted me like a bunch of silly hentai games. And we just talked about those that were in my Steam library. Just, make light of the situation. Is one side of it. I think the other side is, well, for me at this point, I know how much I enjoy it, and I just like once I start, I'm good. But just realize that it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great there, especially at this community. But really, I think pretty much worldwide. There's a few exceptions, but people are gonna be having a good time and enjoy it. So just understand that it's not going to be that scary experience that you might be dreading.
And again, if you're scared of something but you actually want to do it anyway, just never let fear hold you back from doing what you want to do. Just jump into it, and I guarantee you, probably for the most of the times, the first 1, 2, 3, maybe even 10 streams, you might have not really got any viewers watching you anyway. But please try to treat the stream as you have 100 people watching. Don't differentiate how you think things should be if you have a lot more people. One of the worst things when it comes to finding new streamers is if you join a streamer and they're not interacting with their chat. There is also the people that don't have anyone in their chat to interact with, but they need to be able to make it interesting for the people who's coming around anyway. So please just bring out your thoughts about what is going on in the game you play, or what you think. At least try to have a conversation and just sit and talk with yourself. That gives you experience in how to actually do and deal with the streams when you are getting viewers in as well. So definitely try to make it seem like you're streaming to a lot of people.
That's actually a really good tip as well. For one, just sit there and talk to yourself. I mean, treat it as if there are a lot of people watching, and if you don't know what to say, if you're just sitting there like there's no chat to interact with, what do I do? Just explain exactly what you're doing. Pretend like you've got your 3-year-old cousin or whatever that's never understood anything about what you're doing, and just basically say what you're doing.
Yeah, and another thing that we should probably just mention as well is that if you are actually starting to get some kind of traction as a streamer, you need moderators. Your moderators is going to be your bread and butter in your streams, because they're also going to be there to answer all the common questions, all the stuff that everyone knows, so the streamer can actually focus on making the stream enjoyable. So it's not just going to be answering the same question over and over and over again. And finding the right moderators can be a hard task. Don't give the mod thing as a sign of just pure appreciation for the people being there, but actually find someone that understands you, understands your form of humor, understands what you want to do with your streams, and actually see them being a good fit in the community. I think that's pretty much what it comes down to if you want to do streaming. Figure out which of the platform fits you better. There is different ways to approach it, and if you are gonna be a streamer on Twitch, you need to be able to learn to either make YouTube videos or some other kind of content, so you can actually bring people to Twitch, because Twitch growth is very, very, very hard if you don't have something else to bring in people. You have how many subs by now?
Just over 73,000.
Yeah, on YouTube. So you have a big pool of people you can funnel to Twitch.
Yeah. You can find streamers everywhere that have been streaming for years and have sub 500, sometimes less followers after years and years of streaming like that. anywhere you can market yourself, but especially by doing content in what you're streaming, is going to help.
Yeah, definitely. And then you, of course, if you are setting out to become a new streamer or a new content creator, you really need to understand you're not running a sprint. You're in a marathon that's going to last for a long, long, long time. So it's very important that you really enjoy it and you learn to like the things that are not fun as well. Editing can be a very tedious thing to do at 5 in the morning when you know you need a video out by 7 or something like that, because that is your upload schedule. But learn to embrace it, and yeah, passion goes a long way. You need to have some kind of drive in you that you can reflect in the content that is created, so people actually get the feeling you want to do this. You would be doing this even if there was no one watching as well.
Yeah, I'd like to do a segment in some podcast, whatever you want to call it, if not an entire podcast on what it takes, I think, to have success. I'll say even in this business, to not say as a YouTuber or as a streamer, but I can't imagine there are many, if any, successful long-term content creators that are not passionate about what they're doing, because the moment things start going wrong, good luck. If you don't have passion for it, I don't know where you turn at that point.
No, and be very, very thoughtful as well. And this probably doesn't apply to the small streamers. This is more down the line. Don't ever become a sellout. Don't sell your stream and your community and your audience to stuff that you don't want to be a part of, that you wouldn't be proud of using yourself or anything like that, because we get sponsor approaches quite often.
Nearly daily.
And I think we have a very, very similar mindset. If it's not something we would use or see the community have any kind of use of, we don't do it. We don't want to do it.
Have you ever done anything sponsored?
Nope.
I've done the head jack because that was something that I was like, this is a great idea. I love this. But everything else, and we've been reached out to by, I know you and I both had the flashlight one.
Yeah.
We've been reached out to by companies that are somewhat hunting related. You know, like we could easily sell that to our audience, but it's not something that we're necessarily thinking that it would be beneficial.
Yeah, I had that one hunting shop in the US that just all of a sudden reached out to me, and I'm just like, I don't even hunt. How the hell am I gonna be able to sell any of this stuff? And I was just like,
this stuff works. Someone told me.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's be very, very thoughtful, because once you let go of you as a creator for some amount of money, it's very, very hard to regain integrity.
Yeah, very. You don't get a second chance.
No. If you once come across as a fraud or anything like that, you probably burned a lot of bridges and you have some serious repairing to do. But yeah, that was a lot about the streaming part. Let's go into the other stuff. When you actually have edited your video for YouTube, what's in it then? Because you're not done as soon as you press export this video and you put it on upload on YouTube. What other stuff do we need to do, Flinter?
All right, so thumbnail is probably the most important because that is what catches the viewer's eyes. So we probably spend more time on thumbnails than you might think. Both of us have very much streamlined our process to this point, and I know you were for a very long time, and even still are working on trying to improve thumbnails and learning Photoshop and all that stuff. I'm not good at Photoshop. I cannot figure it out. I actually still use Microsoft Word specifically for the text features that it has, and then I use Photoshop for minor stuff. But making an eye-catching thumbnail that I know, I'm going to let you talk about the rules of thumbnails because I know you love preaching this stuff, but making an eye-catching thumbnail that is short, sweet, to the point, and can tell the story of what your video is about is absolutely paramount to a successful video.
Yeah, it's basically just going to be, you have your thumbnail on a billboard next to another 10, 15 billboards. Make sure it stands out. I think we should go into all that in a very, very specific on how to do YouTube kind of video at some point, instead, or
Yeah,
podcast
I think so.
at some point. I'll just touch on it, but thumbnails is very important. Then there's a thing called SEO as well, which is basically the way you tell Google/YouTube, this is what my video is about. Make sure you promote it to the right people for me, please. SEO is search engine optimization. It is the title, it's the tags, and it is the description of the video. You need to make sure that you are very specific what you put in your tags, make a clickable title, it's called, and then have your description be the first few lines of it should be what is this video about, and then you can have your regular info after that. But all that thing that YouTube actually takes into consideration when it figures out who am I going to push this out to, because YouTube does not push your stuff out to a lot of people immediately. I think it probably only pushes your stuff out to like 15% of your subscribers, people that has actually actively said, I want to watch your stuff on, unless you go to the subscription page on YouTube, you are on the recommended on the homepage. I think only 15% of your viewers are actually getting presented with your videos as it is. Make sure it's eye-catching. Make sure you're letting YouTube know that this is a video about very specific topic, and then helping that to promote your stuff. And another great way of promoting your stuff is actually communities. And what kind of communities can you find out there?
Well, I think Discord's the most obvious one, right? We have some amazing communities here on Discord. We're chatting in it right now. Imagine that. But yeah, it's just like the almost perfect thing for a gaming community in my mind. You have the text chats, the voice chats, the ability to customize all that stuff. And you can, I would say, a high percentage, I'm not going to even put a number out, but a high percentage of gaming content creators have a Discord.
Yeah, and even non-gamers actually do benefit from it very, very well as well.
Very
It's
much.
just about finding the balance of how you can do it. And if people join the Discord, it's because they join for you most of the time. So just be happy they're there and really try to be engaging with everyone. And at some point, it might get a little hectic, but just show you around the community and actually care for them, and not just have it as a place that people can come and talk about you, actually talk with you. That's important. Another great place to actually go, especially if you want to promote your stuff, which you should do. You should be promoting your stuff, no matter how big your channel is. Don't just rely on YouTube doing the work. Make sure you join the appropriate groups. It can be Reddit, it can be Facebook. You can even use Instagram hashtags if you're good at that stuff as well, and promote your videos like that as well. Just don't join a community with the intention of only posting your video there. Join it to become a part of it and let yourself known in the community, so people are much more likely, if you do post your stuff there, to go and have a look at it, because, oh, I know that girl, I know that guy from whatever, and he might have helped me with something. I'm going to go and check out what he's doing. And then start building your own community. That is very, very important. One of the things by being a content creator is that you're in the mercy of either Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, wherever. You don't know if that's going to be here tomorrow. They might just delete your channel for something that's abruptly happened or something like that. And there's nothing you can do about it. You are there on their platforms, their rules. Try to build your own community as a thing as well. We both have Discord. I have a Facebook group. I even have a Steam group that no one pretty much uses or knows about, but it's there because I thought that might be needed at some point. And then branch out so you are on multiple platforms, because if one of them fails, you do not want to have all your eggs in that basket.
You don't want to have to start all over again. You want to have that core base already to continue with if something goes down really badly.
Yep. And as I said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's diversifying. Figure out what is your main platform, and then figure out how you can make all the other platforms grow. Don't treat the other platforms, as a billboard for your main platform, but actually use the other platforms as well. Does this mean you can only be on one of the other platforms because it's going to take too much time? Then be it, but do it well. Rather be on one with the right mindset than trying to be on 5 and don't do anything right about it. Because if you're just going to be promoting, people are not going to care if you just, well, YouTube or Discord is going to tell me that you uploaded a video anyway. Why do I need to see it on your Twitter? Why do I need to see it on your Facebook? Why do I need to see it on your Snapchat? And it's I don't know. People need to get in the right mindset when it comes to sharing as well. You really need to be able to figure out how online communities work to actually make it work for you. And if you start to have people become followers and actually be there for you, you really need to make sure that they're having a good time, because those are going to be your most important advertisers of your content. If you could go to any of your analytics right now, with the size of channel that either me or Flinter have, I am sure we are looking at a great amount of shares from people that has enjoyed our content and then has brought even more people into our community.
Yeah,
I have no
it's
idea.
important.
Yeah, it's basically your bread and butter. It's you're at the mercy of the people that you serve as a streamer and as a content creator. Is there anything we need to wrap this episode up with?
No, I think we pretty much actually touched on everything we wanted to get into in terms of the actual content creation side of things. I think we actually even went further than intended in some spots, which is probably good.
Just great. Yeah, I think it's great. But this time I actually want to do an intro or an outro as well, because the other one ended so abruptly. So guys, thank you so very, very much for watching this video here on YouTube. It has been a blast, and make sure to subscribe on this YouTube channel and go follow across the PondCast on Twitch as well.